We want to thank you for being here. We recognize the commitment that you're taking to pursue excellence. You're just one step closer to achieving success. And the Institute is here to help at every step, wherever you are in your business journey. We've helped thousands of shops over decades and across the nation, from service advisor and manager training to a shop that's just starting out, or even those who are planning their growth, scaling from 10 to 20 to 30 locations. Those that are preparing for private equity sale, or even those that are succeeding their business to the next generation. The Institute and our many coaches with years of experience, both from inside and outside the industry, are here to provide education and tools to get you on your way. You do not have to do this alone. We hope you enjoy the content to come. For a better business, a better life, and a better industry, the Institute.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night, depending on when and where you're watching this from. It is a beautiful day outside, no matter where you are. Go outside, breathe some air, stand in some grass, get grounded. And that is what we're going to do here today. I am so excited for this conversation we're going to have here today with our guests. It's going to be amazing. And this is to be an interactive webinar. So those of you who are joining us, we are live on StreamYard, we're live on YouTube, we're live on Facebook. Go down into that comment section and comment where it is that you're joining us from today. Love to give a shout out to your shop, to you. Put in your shop name, city, state, wherever it is that you are joining us from. Would love to give you that shout out because you are here. You're here for the live event, which means you get to see all the mistakes, all the mishaps, all of the live stuff that happens in a live production. We are here for the live, and this is so much fun. I love being here with you, my friend. Love having this conversation. Love having this opportunity to document who and what we are, what makes us awesome and amazing, what helps us to build a better business, a better life, and a better industry. Love that we're all here together. All right, let's give some shout outs. First off to Brad Edwards joining from Plainview, Texas. Brad, thank you for being here. What's the name of your shop, Brad Edwards? We got Jay McCall. Good morning. Forrest Went. Good morning. Yes, good morning to all of you. Angie, Deep Creek Auto in Buell, Idaho. Did I say that right, Angie? Deep Creek Auto. That's awesome. Buell, Idaho. My parents have a house in Idaho Falls. Are you close? Is Buell close? Matt's Import Haven, Whidbey Island, Washington. Welcome, Matt. Glad you are here. Jay with J&V Automobile, Alabama. Jay, how the heck are you, brother? Got to get down to get some good food from Alabama again. My parents also own a home in Pensacola, Florida. So when we go to visit mom and dad, Jay, I'm going to have to swing by and say hello. Brad Edwards, Texas, Tex Edwards Auto Service. Rish. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Rish. Oh, Rish, you're new with the Institute. What's your shop? Put in your shop here so we can say hello. Rish, glad you're here. Dante, M-Serve in Walnut Creek, California. Dante, welcome. Glad you're here. Angie, yes, I did say it right. Oh, cool. Thank you. Clint Jones, Concord, New Hampshire. Met you before events, long time Kukui customer. Clint, glad you're here, Clint. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you being here. Angie McCabe, about 3 hours away. Oh, yeah, that's a little far. Okay, when I go visit mom and dad, we'll have to make a special trip. Kent Bullard, hey, Jimmy. Hey, Kent, how are you? Thanks for tuning in. Kent's at our headquarters in Ogden, Utah, the international headquarters for the Institute for Automotive Business Excellence, Ogden, Utah. Rish is with Meccano Auto Works in Mississauga, Ontario, Canada. Oh, Rish, I think I've been through there. I drove up there one time. I went into Toronto and drove all the way up to Blue Chip Casino. That was awesome. That was so much fun. Clint, Accomplished Auto, also new with the Institute. Welcome, Clint. Glad you guys are here. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody that's here for this live event. And to that comes our guests here with us today. Thank you. Oh, and Cecil Buller joining from the Institute International Headquarters in Ogden, Utah. Thank you, Cecil, for being here, brother. That's awesome. To our guests joining us today, a facilitator, a coach, a one-on-one phenomenon, a member of the single club, the $1 million net club, Parker Branch, Parker with Parker Branch Automotive and Truck. Parker, how are you, brother?
Doing good. Joining you from Branch Automotive and also representing the Institute. Thanks for the intro, Jimmy.
You're welcome. Throw up his Parker Branch Automotive in Highland Ranch, Colorado. I've had the distinct opportunity of spending some time with Parker and his wife at his home. There was one summer that we went up there for a National Speakers Association conference, and Parker was very kind. Thank you, Parker, for extending the invitation to come and stay with you and your family there. What a beautiful home you have. Thank you.
Thank you. It was fun having you and Rhonda down at the place.
Yeah, for sure. How's the shop doing now that we're into 2026?
We're doing well. We're starting off the year pretty good. Excited about January taking some direction finally. I know we've all in the industry have noticed last year was a little flatter than a lot of people wanted, but still moving in the right direction, had some positive growth and a good start to the year.
Oh, that's awesome. And congrats on your accomplishments with what you've done there with your shop and being the recipient, the one and only single recipient of the $1 million net club. Congrats, brother. That's awesome.
We're going to try to do it again and again.
Yeah, absolutely. Please do keep doing it and spread that mindset, spread that desire to others. We just honored to have you as a coach and one of your proteges, as Josh was saying the other day. He's going to tune in to hear about your protege with Sarah and JR LaFlamme with LaFlamme Auto out of, you guys are in Massachusetts.
Yep, the LaFlamme's, they're rock stars. They've been great.
Yeah, wow. And
hi, everyone.
Hey, how are you? There you are, Sarah and JR.
Oh,
thanks for having us.
We are in Massachusetts. We're in Westfield, Massachusetts, which is on the other side of the state from Boston. So most people just assume Boston, but we're not near there.
You're not from Boston, so we can't expect the Boston accent then at all.
We
could try it.
Yeah, we'd all have to fake it.
God.
Yeah, nah, forget about it. Well, that's cool. You guys had some pretty good weather here just recently.
Yes, we got into the 40s, which is like that's a heat wave in January in New England. So it's been nice. Went out with just a sweatshirt and a t-shirt yesterday.
I had a very humbling experience. So I've just recently moved from the desert to the cold weather. I'm a desert rat. I admit it. I fully admit it. I get cold easily. I don't like being cold. I was walking into Costco in my stocking cap and jacket, and walking out of Costco was a gentleman in a tank top and shorts.
Was it 35 degrees that day?
It was.
We would do that too.
Yeah, we have people out here that shovel snow in shorts.
Oh yeah, Wayne Marshall talks about it all the time. He's out in his flip-flops shoveling snow in shorts and a tank top, and it just gets the job done, you know?
Yep. Yeah, you got to do what you got to do.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, the LaFlamme's, thank you so much. We appreciate you joining us. I've got so many questions for you. Did a deep dive into your notes. Thank you, Parker, for taking copious notes as you're coaching with JR and Sarah. This is awesome. I want to kick this off by asking a question about coaching and training. What is it? Well, when you first started with coaching with Parker, what was the pain that finally pushed you to say, yes, we need help? And that's probably before Parker. That's probably going back to when one of my guys reached out to you from the Institute. What was that pain point that said, "Ooh, yeah, you know what? We need some help"?
Yeah, so the pain for us, I think, started well in advance of us reaching out to the Institute. We were in, I think, our second full year, and we had an employee who had to take a leave. So we went from 3 of us to just us. That was it. So he became the main technician. I became the main service advisor and doing everything else that you need to do to run a business. It was okay for a little bit, and we were trekking through, and we were like, we can do this. Yeah. And then we started getting a little bit busier, and we started seeing the cracks. There were, we were, not hitting deadlines with cars. I was missing deadlines on administrative things. And I was like, we just can't keep running around like chickens with our heads cut off.
I mean, I was working 70, 80 hours a week, like nonstop, and it was pretty much burning me out. Yeah. Being the only tech and so on and so forth. So
we were taking our work home with us. We are married. So we were working 24 hours a day, essentially, because we would leave here, go home, we'd be with our kids, but we'd be talking about work because there wasn't enough time in the day because we were trying to wear every hat. So when we realized that the kids were, and our home life was suffering, we said, enough, we can't do this anymore. And we actually ran into the Institute's name by joining a webinar, kind of like this, but it was about parts matrix and parts markup. And Cecil actually had done that. He partnered with Parts Tech, and it was such an eye-opening webinar. We learned so much because before that, we just had no idea how to properly price our parts. We were just flying from the seat of our pants. So that was such an eye-opening thing, and I gained so much confidence based on what he said that's why I decided to reach out to the Institute when we finally said, okay, this is enough.
Yeah, and then I believe it's Kent. I saw a webinar that he did about pretty much giving yourself some freedom and getting to a certain point, and that's when we had a conversation saying, hey, maybe it's time to look into this option.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. And Cecil is listening. So big shout out to Cecil. Thank you so much. And the Parts Markup Matrix webinar, that is a webinar that just keeps on giving and giving and giving. We partnered with Parts Tech, wonderful partnership. Just to let you know on numbers, there were like 1,200 people that registered. 900 showed up the day of the event. It's the most we've ever had in a webinar with the Institute. The questions were coming through so fast and furious that it was quite literally overwhelming to be on the production side of trying to answer all these questions. Cecil did a phenomenal job, consummate professional. Thank you, Cecil. Appreciate that. Shout out to you.
Absolutely.
So into those problems, here you are, you've discovered it. You have, because you guys have 4 bays, right? You've got the building with 3 and then the outbuilding with the 4th.
Yeah, that's correct.
Are you saying, JR, that you were the tech? You were covering all 4 bays?
That's correct. That's what was going on.
He's the master.
I was running 3 bays here, and I set up a whole tool setup on the other side, and just nonstop. Sarah was doing service advising and invoicing and estimates while I'm full throttle out here, and it just. I'm helping her in between, like with quoting and stuff, and that's pretty much why we're here.
Yeah.
So I hear it, and we in the automotive industry, we know how to work. We know how to work hard, and you've proven this. You can do the 70, 80 hours. Do you want to? No, but can you? Yes. Parker, you were coaching them. It had to be like one of the first things you said was, "Hey, we need to hire some techs."
Yeah, when I got together with them, they had rehired, I think, Chris and they had Tyler helping out in the shop as well, and he was able to help get some of the repairs and stuff done. JR was still staying out in front with diagnosis and keeping the operation running. Sarah was still running the front, and it was fun to work with them and see, because so many of us technicians or technician and wife turn business owner decide we're going to go out and do this on our own. I came through the same channels they did. I had the great idea that I'm going to go start a shop and it's going to be me, and I'll have the phone in my pocket and the wrench in my hand, and I'm going to do it all.
Yep.
And, trial and error helped. Cecil had a big impact on helping me understand structure and, when to add what position, which can be terrifying. But I know, Sarah and JR are go-getters. And so we would talk about some of these changes, adding a service advisor. I would love to hear what fears and feelings they had about that. And just to share with everybody, I've heard it, but it's a scary thing. And the difference and the change in the business by adding that position was awesome. And then later on, we were able to actually add a technician to take some of the pressure off of JR and change some of their roles. So I'd love to hear some of, how they felt about that, and turn it over to you, Jimmy, to elicit some, or, pull some of that out. Cause it's great help for everybody to hear that, we all come through the same channels.
We do. And it's interesting. So similar, the two stories of technicians turned shop owners. You guys both have the same story, which I love. I absolutely love that. And interviewing is my nemesis. That's my kryptonite. JR, Sarah, you've got to interview. You've got to bring in another tech. What do? How do you find the right butt to put in the right seat on the bus?
So for technicians, we tried the traditional ways. We, put up an ad online. I even went as far as to put an ad in our local newspaper. Come to find out, nobody reads it anymore.
Oh, shocker!
Yeah, it was worth a shot. I was drawing at straws. So we tried the traditional methods first, and then we got lucky with Tyler. We actually got him through one of our tool guys that came through. He actually recommended him to us, so we got lucky with him. And then we've put other ads out in the meantime. We actually have used a hiring company that Parker recommended to us, which is amazing. And that's worked out well. But we've actually seen a lot of the best progress with getting technicians word of mouth through people. So we're kind of in a small community. We're very community driven. We live in the town that our business is in. So everything we do, how we market, everything, how we live, how the culture of our business is run is based on community. So that's kind of how we got our last tech, Steve, which is he's a master tech. So we actually just being known in the community, happened to be walking in to drop my daughter off at daycare. And one of the employees is like, my husband needs to come work for you. And so, yeah, amazing. Yep. So
that's awesome.
You would kind of never know where they're going to come from. And I remember Parker kind of saying one time that it feels really hard right now, but you're going to build your shop up to a point where people are going to be looking to come to you. And so that moment when that woman said, oh, my husband's, he can fix anything. He's a great technician. I want him to come work for you. You're in town. And I was like, this is it. Parker said this would happen.
Yeah. She said, I saw your ad. I think it was on our website or something at the time. And she's like, hey, my husband's been doing this for years. What are you looking for? And we pretty much said, hey, we're looking for a master tech to alleviate JR a little bit. And he came on board and he's been with us since. So
so that was
you guys are doing the right things and treating people right, internal customers, external customers, doing good work. And that creates attraction to your business. And that's kind of, we talk about that at the Institute by, raising everything up and doing such a good job. Eventually people, they start realizing that good things are happening at LaFlamme's and we want to be there. And that's part of that attraction that, that's a real compliment to what you all have done.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. And I will say, like, his wife stopped us recently and she did make comments to me and Sarah saying, I'm so glad my husband made the move to go to you guys. He's very happy. I haven't seen him this happy in years.
Yeah.
So that's a good compliment all the way around. So,
I make sure to
thank you.
I make sure to let him know when I see his wife.
Oh, that is awesome.
Your wife said you're so happy here.
Yes. Let me remind you, Steve. And Steve is ZZ Top, right? He's
long beard.
Steve is ZZ Top. Tyler looks like he just stepped off the high school graduation stage. Okay, but he's not.
Nope.
Yeah.
How did you find Tyler?
Tyler was through our Snap-on dealer.
The Snap-on dealer. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you said you also hired somebody through, was it through Sarah Fraser?
Yes, we did hire a technician through Sarah, and that experience was great through AIM. And that technician in the end didn't work out. We had them on for about 5 months. Unfortunately, it didn't work out, which was really disappointing for us because they fit our culture so well. And that's so important to us because we're in very tight quarters and we're here so much that it's like almost like being at home. So we want to make sure everyone jives. So unfortunately, that one didn't work out, but we've got, Sarah always on speed dial for all of our needs now.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad you clarified that it was longer than 5 minutes.
Months.
I think that was really a good experience too, because one of the things that we learned, as I was coaching JR and Sarah, we talked a little bit about EOS. No, we didn't want to make the whole business into an EOS system, but we talked about, finding the right people and having them fit the culture. And so it was a good try with that individual. And in the end, we realized it was okay, but it really wasn't great. And when they let go of okay, that made room for great to show up. So it was a good lesson.
Yep, absolutely.
Hallelujah. Yeah, we learned that in the leadership intensive classes with the Institute, that when you're looking for a unicorn, you've got to look where the unicorns are. You don't go to the middle of the valley. You go where the unicorns are. And if you've got a shop full of mule deer, that's not unicorns. What, speaking to culture, speaking to your shop, I have an implementation question. What is, I'm going to call it the single best, and it could be more than one, but what's the single best thing you've implemented from coaching and training with Parker that created that immediate traction in your shop?
So I would say it was the DVIs, doing the digital vehicle inspections. That was such a big game changer. We were really hesitant about doing it prior to that. We thought, it's going to take extra time. That's not really billable time. Are people going to think we're just shady salespeople because we're telling them what's wrong with their car? And then Parker just really, gave us the whole story. Like, it's not just about selling. It's about people seeing what's going on with their vehicle, the whole health of the health report of their vehicle. And when you put it like that, I thought, like if I go to the doctor, I want them to give me the whole health report. I don't want them to just give me this one fix. I want everything, Right. And so that way people can make informed decisions, which is literally what like my mantra is now, is always, we give this so you can make an informed decision. We want everyone to make that informed decision. We don't want somebody to pay to replace their transmission when their engine's we already know their engine's not good.
Or if their frame's about to fall out and say, hey, well, I just did a brake job, but your frame's about to fall out. Right. Hey, here you go anyways.
Yeah, we're in the rust belt. So we're, frames rusting out is very common. So that was probably the biggest thing, was actually implementing it and putting it on every single job and making sure that we are very thorough. And that was a lot of training with our technicians to make sure that they were going through and thoroughly doing this inspection. Because you can have them just look at it, but if they're missing things, you're not giving the customer the full picture for them to make the right decisions.
Yeah. So. And working with Parker, we came up with like kind of a little game, I would say, for DVI to make sure all technicians and stuff are doing the DVIs properly. And
DVI rodeo.
DVI rodeo.
And 300%. And the
300% rule. So that was going to say, So with that DVIs came the 300% rule, which was, 100% of cars get a DVI, 100% of cars.
Findings. 100% of your findings.
Right. We're quoting them all we're presenting them all. And that kind of, at first was really scary for us too, because when we first started with Parker, we didn't have a service advisor. It was me. Yep. And I was still wearing all of these hats. I was taking my hat on and off all day long, calls, customers, payroll, bills, everything. And so the idea that I would have to try to find time to carve out time to do all of the quoting for all of these items, I was like, there's just no way.
Yeah.
And of course, Parker, because he's full of good information and good ideas, said, you need a service advisor.
Yep. I mean, it was even to some of the point where Sarah's like, hey, I can't quote this out. I need help because I got these quotes to do. So I had to stop wrenching to get involved with that aspect too.
Right.
And it was just
we were realizing that we were spread too thin in both departments, and there was just no way. So I mean, there were times where we weren't able to actually even get estimates together for customers, and we lost out on those jobs because we were that busy. So so service advisor was the next step after we implemented, DVIs with the 300% rule, and then having somebody who could actually bring that over the finish line, right? Because I unfortunately just couldn't. So because I just had too many other things that I had to get done. So.
Oh yeah.
So adding that, her service advisor was a game changer to change your guys' roles, and it puts you into another gear. And your revenue and giving you time to work on the business for sure.
Correct.
Absolutely.
Yeah, DVI is a drum that's very near and dear to my heart. I pounded that drum for 4 years trying to get shops to implement, take pictures. It just really educates your customer. An educated customer makes better decisions.
Absolutely. Yep. We get that as feedback often from customers, whether it be through a review or just telling us verbally how much they love getting the videos and the photos that we send them of their cars.
A lot of people are visual. You can explain it to you're blue in the face, but a lot of people, if they see it and you explain it to them, they're more visual and they're like, okay, I got what you're talking about now. And let's proceed with this or so forth, or I'll put it on the back burner for now, so.
Yeah. And that had a huge impact on driving their average written estimate up, and therefore their average repair order came up substantially from that as well. So we saw some great changes there.
All right. I have a lot of questions for you about the DVI then. What are you using? Is it integrated with your point of sale? What did your average repair order go from and to?
Okay, so Tech Metric is what we're using.
Love it.
And
fully integrated, simple using, pushes right into it.
Yep. And we text every single DVI right out to the customer. And so it's seamless. They have the link they can go back to, and they can forward it to other people and review it too, which is nice because sometimes, maybe they want to send it to dad to review, maybe they feel uncomfortable making that decision on their own. And our ARO, I know I should have that number. And Cecil somewhere on here probably going, she should have these numbers. And Jennifer probably too. That's one of the things that I'm working on is
we're not going to hold your feet to the fire. This is a scientific wild guesstimate on we were somewhere in the range and we went to somewhere in this range.
Okay, so I would say before we were doing the DVI, we were probably in the 300 range.
Yeah.
And then we've gone to well over 600 for our AROs right now.
Congratulations. Yeah, that's phenomenal. And the result of that is better cars on the road. Yes, your average repair order went up. Wonderful. Yes, as a business, we're able to make it. Okay, and we're profitable. Okay, cool. But the more important thing, our clients, our customers are making better decisions about their vehicles. They're safer on the road, which also means you're safer on the road. Your family is safer on the road, and my family is safer on the road because our clients, our customers are making better decisions. I love that. That is wonderful. I'll never stop pounding that drum. All right, and the DVI may be the crown jewel in this, but if you can think of something else, we'll talk about something else. If another shop owner could copy just one thing that you've done this last year, what should it be?
So it's funny because we talked about this recently, and when it was just JR and I, and when you first start your business, you're relying on friends and family kind of to start you. And so we did a lot of emotional pricing, and Cecil talked about it in that webinar we went to. And then I looked at JR and I was like, are we doing emotional pricing? And then like the next time one of our family members, or it was like not even a family, it was like a friend of a friend of a friend, you know, and
too far.
Yeah, and I'm in there because I'm a bleeding heart, and I'm like, I don't know, I know she doesn't have a lot of money, and I'm making decisions for her, and I said, you know, I think we're making too much emotion, like we're making these emotional pricing. And Parker, and we talked to Parker about it when we started with him, and he said, yeah, absolutely, you need to get this set, and this is what it is. And that actually is kind of like, it all kind of went hand in hand with having that service advisor position in, because now I'm a step back from that. I'm not doing the everyday like that part of it. So my service advisor is doing that. So I can't get emotionally involved because, and he doesn't care because it's not his family or a friend of a friend of a friend, right? He's not going to be emotionally involved in that. So that has really helped us. So I would say, no, don't do emotional pricing. All you're doing is just discounting and
your value.
And I love helping people, and we'd like to help people as much as we can. But if you're not in a position where you can help people, and we weren't when we were in that position, to help people. We were barely skimming by, but we were cutting ourselves short because we just want to help everybody. So so important thing I think people to learn.
Yep.
Yeah, that is so true. Parker, what about you? What's one of those things that another shop owner, if they were to copy one of the things that you have done in your shop over the last year, what would you suggest?
The first thing that comes to mind was when you presented that question, even to JR and Sarah, is that I was thinking about, when I started Branch Automotive in, the end of 2009, actually started functioning in 2010. I was a couple of years into it, running some fairly decent volume of sales through the shop at $80 an hour.
Ooh.
And I don't know what my parts margin was because I didn't have a coach. Therefore, I didn't know. Yeah. So for me, when I first started to try to get some coaching and was introduced to the Institute and actually understanding what the best shops in the industry and putting these pieces together, that was a game changer for me. And I think Sarah is very sharp with numbers and paying attention to that. And she was frustrated because she wasn't where she wanted to be, but she also didn't know where she should be. And I think that was part of when we first talked, they were like, there's a little bit of, are we doing the right things? Where should we be? What do we need to change? So, I don't want to take a whole bunch of credit because I give the credit to Cecil and the Institute and Jennifer Holbert, the people that have coached me. And then I'm sharing my journey with them through those experiences. Having the coach it's the biggest game changer there is. You don't know what you don't know.
Absolutely.
I would agree. And if I could just jump on that, one of the first things that when we met with Parker at our first meeting was he kind of said, like, what is your goal? Like, where do you want to be? So because from that, he started building us kind of our outline, right? Like, think of writing an essay in high school. You kind of start with your outline. And so he kind of started helping us build that outline. How can we achieve what we wanted? And for us, all we wanted was work-life balance.
Yep.
We don't want to be wealthy and rich. I mean, it'd be cool if we were, but we wanted to be happy. We wanted to be present for our time with our kids, and be able to leave work behind, and still have it, be successful. And we, and be able to travel. We didn't take a vacation for years.
Yep.
And it's hard because it's not just us, it's also our kids. So to tell them, oh yeah, we can't take a vacation again. And they're like, well, everyone else is taking vacation.
Yeah. Or not, or also not being able, kids wake up in the morning, not being able to see them before school.
Right.
Or seeing them right before they go to bed.
Right.
Coaching's helped out with that tremendously.
Yeah. So Parker was able to give us so much data of like where we should be, but in little tiny bites. So it wasn't overwhelming of like, let's start here. Okay. We need to start with, let's hire another technician. If maybe we can't get that, maybe we just go to the right service advisor. Maybe that can help. And that actually ended up being the better process for us, was to go service advisor. And then we added more techs after. Yep. But to not know to know I had these numbers, but is that the right number? Should my parts margin be this? Should it be that? Should my labor margin be this? I don't know. So for him to give me, am I spending even down to like the expenses? Am I spending too much on my accountant? Am I spending too little on advertising?
These are software too much.
Yeah, these are things that, we're still working on these things. But it's nice that the Institute has gone and done all that work and provided that those
benchmarks. Yeah,
those references for everyone to have. So yeah, it was great.
Yeah, I think you're going to be super excited as you continue. They're Sarah and JR moving into a gear performance group. They're in transition now, and they'll have Jennifer Holbert as their coach. And it's, Sarah had some fears and worries about how's this going to be with the reporting and that. And she is a powerhouse with her numbers. And I was like, you and Jennifer are going to get along. Like, you're going to be worried at first, but when you get in there and feel what we've done with coaching one-on-one, getting some structure and some ideas, and having someone to talk to that's been through the same pain points that you are, have tried this, tried that. When you get in there and have 15 to 20 shop owners surrounding you that also have been on that journey, and with Jennifer's expertise and she's just brilliant. So you're going to love that.
Yeah, we're really looking forward
to it.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. Our first in-person meeting is at the end of this month, so in a couple weeks. We're going to get to meet a whole bunch of other shop owners who are like-minded, and we're really excited about it. Yep. We're happy that we at least had Parker for at least over a year, though, because before that, you kind of just feel like you're out in the middle of the desert by yourself. We felt like we were drowning. And then when we had Parker, we at least had somebody to bounce ideas off of and talk about the losses and the wins. There was one month we had our best month ever. And the very first thing Parker said when he got on the call was, congratulations on your best month ever. And we were like, we go, oh, was it? We were so busy, like trying.
We didn't even know.
We were just trying to implement so many things, right? Get our SOPs in place. Another thing that Parker told us to get rolling on, so that everyone knows what we're expecting of them. We were trying to get all these things that we weren't even paying attention to how we were, how I was doing on that. So, but with the service advisor now, I can actually, I'm having so much more time to look at all those numbers and make sure that we're actually on the same path that we wanted to be on.
Yeah. And Jimmy, they were open-minded because, it's not always, we knew, hey, it would be ideal if we could get a technician to replace JR in the shop to free him up. And because the business is young and we still don't have an advisor, we're trying to add to the team to get our structure to free, the owners up a little bit. We went after technician first. We had some trials and tribulations there. And we had talked about it like, hey, there were times I had to go back in the shop and stay there and be the guy in the shop. So we switched gears a little bit and we said, hey, let's see if we can, find that service advisor position. And they did. And that made another positive change, helped create that vacuum to then attract this technician with the big fancy beard. And here we go.
Yeah. ZZ Top Steve.
Yeah.
He's the best.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. Parker, I think you're hitting it right on the head. And okay, now that it's in the room, the nail is up. I've got to hit it with a hammer. JR, we kept talking about you being this bottleneck by doing that. You were the hands-on, the heavy duty work.
Yep.
What did it feel like for you to hear that, okay, we need JR to transition from being a technician to being an owner?
So part of it is, when I'm doing the job, it's done your way, so on and so forth. But the Institute and Parker, they've implemented SOPs, getting all that into place, which has helped out a lot. So putting those in place with technicians and guiding the technicians the right way has also helped alleviate that off of me, where I could go training these guys and also bringing on Steve and so on and so forth. It's good to see now I don't have to get so much involved with the technician side. Now I have guys out here that I have trust in that can keep the wheels turning, and I don't have to be in every step.
Yeah, it feels like he can almost nurture the technicians a little bit more into like how we do it, the LaFlamme's way, right? How we what we expect, which is probably pretty similar to most shops, but yeah, so that's been a big thing.
I love it. And there's a big controversy in the social media world right now that says if your coaching company only tells you that you have to work on your business, not in it, they are not a good coaching company. And that's not the story. Eventually, we want to work you to that position where you can work on it.
Correct.
Rather than in it. And here's my question to you, JR. How long did it take? How long was that transition period? Because you can't do it day one.
Nope.
How long did it take you to make that? And you're probably still not fully transitioned.
That's correct. And we're still working on it to get me to that point, because I need to spend more time on the business instead of in the business. So we'll say for a while.
Yeah. So we've been open, just over 4 years we've been open. And I would say just up until the last couple of months is when he's finally his numbers. So when I run my report, I'm starting to really see that his numbers for billables is really dwindling. And at first I kind of razzed him and I was like, hey, your billables aren't very good. But they're not supposed to be, because we're supposed the technicians are supposed to be doing this stuff. So now he has more time to train them and work with them on that.
And also do business stuff that I need to do. Instead of doing it, say, after hours or in between things here and there. So that has helped out tremendously.
Yeah, JR was feeling pretty overwhelmed at times.
Yep.
That he was, really carrying the load in the shop. So
and it's very tough when you have all this work that has to get out of your shop because it's promised to customers, and you see them out there and you're like, all right, hey, I got a timing belt to do. Hey, I got an R&R transmission out there still to do in between fitting in oil changes and brakes.
There was many times where he said to me, I feel so much stress because everyone's paychecks and everyone's livelihood is relying on me and my shoulders. Because, you know what I mean? So it was, and that's a feeling that he doesn't say that anymore, because we've got these technicians that are Steve, who's excellent, knows what he's doing. We've got Tyler, who's working his way up. He's learning a lot. He is absorbing like a sponge, which is excellent. But JR now has the time to put into Tyler and then eventually into our next technician too. So
and you have Chris carrying his role and his position that also is kind of in the background, but pretty important, keeping the state inspection program running and helping cover some of the odds and ends. So definitely some supplemental, employee, helping carry the load. And they've done a great job of knowing that. And when the business is young, you may still be in and out of the shop some, but you've seen now the difference that can happen with adding the key areas of staff. You've seen what it's like to have that position maybe come and go and what the impact on the business was. Now understand the importance a little differently than you did before.
Correct. And like you were just saying, having Chris here also alleviates me a little bit, because if I'm tied up doing something, everybody under technicians, stuff like that, know to see Chris if JR or Sarah's busy.
So that's advice I would give other shop owners too. Eventually, when you get to a point where you're wearing too many hats, you need to think about getting a jack of all trades kind of guy, the guy who can be in the background, which is our guy Chris. He has trained in every department and done everything in the shop except for my stuff, right? Like accounting. He's cross-trained in all of it, so he can back us up. And that's what we worked really hard for the last year, was to try to get him into that position, get him trained up and everything too. So that way we can leave and go meet other shop owners in our gear performance group. Otherwise we wouldn't be able to do that.
Correct. And they each having somebody there that knows the business, the direction, how things are operational. Having people go to somebody else when you're not around is a bonus, because you don't have the doubt in your mind saying, hey, is this getting done? Well, I know they're going to go see this individual. They know how we do things, and they're the go-to if we're not here. So
that is awesome. That is awesome. It sounds like not only have you been able to free up JR's time to work on the business, but bringing in Chris also allowed you, Sarah, to work on the business as well.
For sure. The service advisor role and having Chris as our shop, like I said, jack of all trades, has really helped because I have been able to start delegating, which is a big thing. We had to, that's one of the hard things is being a business owner when you start the business is you feel like you don't want to let go of anything. And that's something that we've been working really hard to actually pry that responsibility off of us and delegate it to someone. And maybe they don't do it exactly how you would do it, but you work with them to try to get them up to that level. You know what I mean? And so it's been hard, but yeah, Chris has definitely done that. And then even JR being less of a bottleneck, right. And being alleviated in the shop has made it so I can actually hand him back some of these duties that I've been doing in addition to all my very like administrative and operational things, like, marketing, you know what I mean? Like, cause I'm doing all the marketing and stuff too. And then, but so now I can hand back some of the management, HR, like a little bit, some of these things back to JR as he has more time now, which makes it so I can spend more time moving the business forward, which has been great.
Oh, that is really good. That is really good. All right, now we're to a point. This is the section of the interview we're going to call the worst or the most. The worst or most embarrassing implementations that you've done in the shop where you thought, well, that didn't quite land the way I imagined. I thought that might have gone a little bit different. What has been the most embarrassing rollout you attempted that didn't quite land right?
I'm not really sure.
Geez, that's hard. I would say the DVIs actually. So we were lucky with Steve when he came on more recently that he worked for a place that already did that. But before that, the techs we had did not. And so rolling out the DVI was, they gave us some pushback, right? Like, it's going to take time. And then seeing the quality of them coming back in, that was where we were like, oh, that did not land.
Yeah,
well,
or the consistency, like one DVI would have all these photos, the next one would be missing half of them.
Yeah, 2 photos, right? Yeah. So, I mean, and that's something we continue to work on. And, each technician almost brings their own style to it, right? Which is great because then we can use that as an example. We see something on a DVI that we really like that Steve did or Tyler did, and we're like, wow, we want everyone to do it this way because this is great for the customer to see and this is easier for them to understand. So, but yeah, for sure, DVIs were a hard rollout.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, we just do a DVI.
Yeah, it's a lot of people think it goes that way, but it doesn't. It takes a lot of hand holding to implement a successful digital vehicle inspection program. It certainly does. All right, so most and worst. Tell me about a time that you solved a problem and in doing so created a new problem.
I've got one example. When we hired our service advisor, our very first service advisor, that was to solve a problem, but it created a bigger problem for me because then I had to actually take the time to like be patient and train them. And Parker was all the time like, Sarah, you got to sit next to them. You got to sit next to them. Yep. You got to go like baby step them through. And so that ended up becoming like a bigger problem. I didn't, at the time, I didn't think it was going to be, I was like, this is a great solution. Here you go. Just put him in the seat. And then Parker's like, no, you can't just do that.
Yeah, and one thing I'll add to that is for a service advisor, one thing I would definitely suggest to people is make sure you put your time into them and make sure they have your procedures and they know your procedures and processes. So this way here, they're not on the front lines going, I don't know, I'm not really sure what to do.
Right.
So make sure you put your time into it with that. And Parker was great with that, helping us in that aspect as well. So
yeah, that was a great learning experience. That was, you don't know what you don't know until you get there. And the individual that, we got hired and I remember getting on a call and Sarah was like, yeah, they've been here 2 days and I turned them loose and it's terrible. Wait a minute.
In my defense, we just have such tight quarters.
Sure.
You know,
oh yeah,
so
it was a space.
There wasn't even room for me to stand next to them, so it was hard. So
yeah, so we reeled it in. We talked about it, about how to, you know, I told them in my shop, even some of the higher level people that we've brought in in a mature, you know, business, 10 plus years, we still have, our manager was one of our best advisors, and he is joined at the hip with that individual for, if it's a very well experienced advisor, probably still a couple weeks, and if it's not, probably a month. And they reeled it in, and when they made their changes to the current advisor, they did a great job of really setting those expectations. And it's just like, you know, we were talking about, you were sharing about the DVI and some of the difficulties there, and I'm thinking there's a couple SOPs setting the expectations with the techs of, hey, this is how many pictures we want and why, and the good and the bad. So, but they've done a great job of that.
Thank you.
So as you're looking for advisors and you're looking for that advisor fit, is there a difference between a transactional service advisor versus a relationship service advisor?
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. And like I kind of touched upon before, for us, one of our core values is community, like that feeling of community, and that everyone feels really welcome, and that because that's how I want to feel when I go places, and I want to feel treated like, I want them to say, "Hey, Sarah," and know my name and remember my car and things like that. And I can't expect, you know, every service advisor to remember every single person's exact, you know, thing, but in the years that I was at the front, that was me. I was doing that. I was very relationship. We were building relationships, and those people were our biggest supporters, sending in new customers to us, like tenfold. Like one person, one happy customer was sending like 10 people, like their whole family. And so, you know, that was really important to us, is to make sure that people feel that there's that relationship, and that we're not just a one-off, well, we fix your car, take your money, and we never talk to you again. You know, I mean, like I said, we're in this community, we live in this community. Yeah. So the chances that we're going to see them outside of this building is very good. I mean, I can't go to the local grocery store on the weekend without running into my customers. Yeah. So, and then I ask them, how's your car running, and things like that. So, whereas transactional, you know, that, hey, just, you know, like JR called it, like being at the deli. Next, take a number, next, and we're just not like that. So we've worked really hard with our current service advisor to make sure that he's not like that. He came from a shop that was a little bit more transactional, where he was working, and that maybe worked for them, but it's not how it works for us in our small town.
Correct. So. And one thing I'll say is, a lot of our customers, they really enjoy that, where we see them walking in the door. We're like, hey, Joe, how you doing? And they're like, hey, JR, Sarah, hey, I'm back for my oil change or something. And they love the fact of the interaction like that. It goes a long way. And I mean, the feedback, even we hear from that, a lot of customers like that feel. They don't want to just feel like they're punching a ticket or getting a deli ticket or something, you know? Yeah. They like the personal.
They want it to be fixed properly.
Correct.
For a good price. And they want a good relationship.
Yeah.
We're going to serve it all up together.
That is so true. It has to all go together. The relationship, the quality. What did you learn about your own leadership style as you are training these service advisors, finding the misalignments, saying thank you, no thank you? What did you learn about your own leadership style?
Well, I mean, for myself, we're still working on it day to day. As far as that goes, it's like everybody can't be you. You can't expect everybody to do it your way or say things exactly how you do it. So as far as the leadership role goes, and is pretty much setting the expectations of saying, hey, you don't need to necessarily bring it forward this way, but this is the way kind of we would like you to have it go, or direction we would like you to have it, and letting go of that aspect.
I have sung the song from Frozen to my husband many times.
Let it go.
I am not ashamed to admit it. He has come into my office many times, like very frustrated about something, and I'm like, let it go, let it go. There's some things they're just not worth. And, I think Parker can attest to this. You got to pick and choose your battles. For me, as the person training on the service advisor side, my managerial style has changed from being I used to be a little bit more uptight. And I've just become a little bit more mellow because I'm realizing I need this person. They need the job, but I also need them. And it needs to be a mutually beneficial relationship. And I'm not going to get that from them if I'm harping on them about stuff and
coming off like a bear or something.
Yeah, and I'm I personally am a very democratic person, right? We have team meetings all the time, and I'm like, hey, we're thinking about doing this. What does everyone think? I ask everybody's opinion, and I take it under advisement, because I want to see, what do they, I want them to feel like they're included in this because we really are like a big team.
Yeah. So. And the biggest thing is communication.
You guys have done a good job of letting go of the vine a little bit where you needed to. And we definitely work through some of the there's going to be different people that you're going to, maybe bring into the business, and you might outgrow them. Things will change. You do what you need to survive and get by and try to, create excellence in those positions. I know that when you guys were talking about that, I'm thinking leadership intensive will be so good for you guys.
I've already got that. Is it coming up already?
There's one coming up in March in Ogden.
Oh,
yep. Yep. And in fact, there's a holiday bundle right now you can take advantage of. We'll get you 3 intensives, which is normally like $6,700 for $5,000. You get a 3-day service advisor training, a leadership intensive, and a financial intensive, or the marketing intensive. So all of that bundled together, $5,000.
Wow, that is a great deal right there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it really is. As we kind of land this plane here, I've got a few questions I want to ask all of you. And Parker, you get to answer the last one. These are, JR, this is to you, and Sarah, this is to you. If coaching ended tomorrow, what are some of those non-negotiables that you would keep forever, always implemented? JR, you first.
I would say the 3 C's. That would be one to stick with.
Yeah.
Sarah?
That was definitely a big thing, is making sure that people know, what's causing the problem, what's the act, what are we going to do to fix it and all that. So that's definitely something. I think the 300% rule for me is something that, we will never let go of. There's no reason to at this point. We've already implemented it. Why would we go backwards?
Correct.
Everyone knows what we expect of them. We've had many meetings about it and said, reminder, 300% rule, reminder, 300% rule. And then we, like we're in school, made them, each of them answer what the 300% what it breaks down to. So,
I love it.
We're all on the same page.
KVIs.
JR, Sarah, what is something you wished someone had told you in year 3 of your business that coaching forced you to learn to do?
Oh, geez. When we were I would say when we were in year 3, we thought that you to be a business owner, you have to be working in your business, right? Like in it, on the front lines and all that. And that's been something that is not the case. I wish we kind of, and even if somebody told us in year 3, would we have drank the Kool-Aid on that? I don't know right away. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time for you to get used to it, but you can't be working in your business 100% of the time and also working on your business. And that is something that has become so apparent to us in the last year, that you just can't do it all. And so you have to get the right people into those positions so you can do those things, so you can work on the business. And sometimes we still work in the business. JR was just wrenching on a car this morning.
Yep.
I'm answering phone calls sometimes too, making appointments and things like that, backing up our service advisor, because that's what you do. You don't leave it behind. And I love that. I actually love working with the customers. So anytime that our service advisor is out, I don't mind running in there and taking over. But
I totally agree. And you step in, you do what you got to do. The business still has to run. We still have to keep the lights on, the doors open. And so you do what you got to do to make that happen. So JR, if you have to pick up a wrench, Sarah, if you've got to pick up the phone, Parker, if you got to pick up the phone, you do what you got to do to keep the business rolling.
Exactly.
All right, to JR and Sarah, and then Parker, you can answer this after as well. What would you say to a shop owner who's on the fence because, oh, we're just too busy, or we can't afford coaching, or we can't implement it right now? What advice would you give to somebody, a shop owner who's sitting on the fence?
We literally said every single one of those things to ourselves. We had this conversation, and we're really lucky that there's two of us. We get to bounce off these ideas with each other. But we literally thought the same thing. We're too busy. How am I going to find time to meet with my coach in a month? I'm too busy.
Yeah, how are you going to afford it?
How are we going to afford it and all that? And you know what? You just do it. You figure it out. You figure out a way to make it happen. I started looking at the numbers thinking, well, if we just do one more, four-wheel brake job, we can pay for this for the month. You know what I mean? Like, if that means that JR has to get out there and do one extra one even on a Saturday, then we're going to do it, And so I think it was one of the best decisions. I think it was a hard sell for JR at first. I was really like an early, yes, let's do this. And he was kind of a little bit more hesitant. And a couple months ago,
and I'll be the first one to sit here and admit it. Every shop out there that is in doubt, I would 100% do it all over.
A couple months ago, he said,
again.
Yeah, a couple months ago, he came to me and said, maybe we should. This is a good idea.
This was a great idea. I'm glad we did it. It puts you, it over time, and it helps you out.
We're just so much happier now.
Oh.
Yep.
We feel so much more calm and happier than we were when Parker first met us. We were frazzled.
I don't have bags down to here anymore.
Well, and Dylan agrees with you. He says you can't afford not to have coaching.
Right.
That's correct.
It's something you just have to have. Parker, to you, what do you say to the shop owner, the coach, or the shop owner that's sitting on the fence?
I mean, it changed my life. Like, I was in a 2-bay shop doing 800,000 2 years in a row, charging $80 an hour. I probably should have done almost 2 million those 2 years. But the path, the people I've met through the industry, through the Institute, and going to the summits and different trade events, it's broadened my network. I've learned so much from the Institute and the people they brought me together with that has literally transformed my business and my earning. And I mean, if you're on the fence, I get it. I was there too. I was terrified to spend the money, just like JR and Sarah were saying. One of the things about the Institute, give it a try. What do you have to lose? A month or two? That's one of the things that, like, I am so proud of Cecil and Kent and Wayne and the Institute over that whole strategy of, we're not asking you to come here and give us your mortgage off your house and you're stuck here for 5 years. Come in and give it a try. If it's not working for you, here we go.
Yeah. If it's not working, you can bounce. Ours is a month-to-month agreement. JR, Sarah, thank you so very much for joining us, having the conversation. Thank you for your success. Thank you for keeping going and keeping at the grindstone. Parker, thank you for being their coach and not letting them have excuses that were acceptable. There's no excuses here. It's get the job done. So to both of you, to all of you, thank you very much for joining me today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having us.
Yeah, thanks everybody.
Yeah. Hey, and if you're listening to this and this is some information that has resonated with you and with your shop, you figure, oh, I'm in the same position. I've got the same thing happening at my shop. We would love to have a conversation with you. And that's what it starts with, is a conversation. So as we finish, you're going to see a QR code pop up. We're here to help you build a better business, which in the result is a better life for you. And the net result for us at the Institute is a better industry. So let's all lock arms together. Let's lock arms together and help improve your shop, your business, and your life. My name is Jimmy Lee with the Institute for Automotive Business Excellence, and this is the Leading Edge Podcast. Talk to you soon. Thank you.
Thank you.